The blizzard was unforgiving, turning the roadside into a white graveyard of ice and silence, but for 68-year-old Martha, everything changed the moment she spotted a shape trembling near a wooden post. At first, she thought it was just debris caught in the storm until she saw it move, a German shepherd, tied so tightly it couldn't even lift its head, and then she saw them, tiny bodies, puppies. 5 of them lying motionless in the snow. Martha dropped her grocery bag and ran, her heart pounding, and just as Martha dropped to her knees, she noticed something else under the snow, something that made her whisper, "Oh dear God." Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The blizzard raged across the empty road, turning the world into a swirling sheet of white as Martha gripped her steering wheel, praying her old car wouldn't stall. Visibility dropped with every passing second, but something ahead caught her eye, a dark, unmoving shape half buried in the snow. Her heartbeat quickened. She slowed to a crawl, squinting through the windshield, unsure if it was debris or something alive. Against her better judgment, she pulled over and stepped into the freezing wind. Snowflakes stung her cheeks as she trudged forward, each step heavier than the last. The strange shape shifted slightly, and dread tightened around her chest. As Martha drew closer, the shape slowly revealed itself, a German shepherd, trembling violently beneath a thick layer of snow. The dog's fur was frozen stiff, its breath shallow, yet its eyes stayed locked on hers with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. A rough rope dug into its neck and chest, tying it tightly to a wooden post as if someone had abandoned it to die. Martha's heart twisted painfully. The dog didn't bark or growl. Instead, it lowered its head slightly, silently pleading for help she couldn't ignore. Martha's breath caught as she noticed small lumps scattered around the mother dog. She knelt quickly, brushing snow away with trembling hands until tiny bodies emerged, 5 puppies, their fur icy, their legs limp against the frozen ground. Panic surged through her as she checked each one, praying for any sign of life. A faint twitch, a small gasp, a barely there heartbeat. Some were clinging on, but only just. The mother dog whined softly, nudging one puppy with her nose, her entire body shaking as she begged Martha to save her fragile little family. As Martha gathered the weak puppies against her coat for warmth, the mother dog suddenly grew restless. She strained against the rope, whining urgently and shifting her weight toward the snow beside her. Her eyes darted from Martha to a specific patch of ground, as if begging her to notice something. She scraped at the snow with her paw despite her trembling legs, her desperation unmistakable. Martha frowned, sensing the dog wasn't just pleading for her puppies. She was trying to reveal something far more important, confused but compelled. Martha brushed aside the snow where the mother dog kept pawing. Within seconds, her hand struck something fabric-like, stiff, cold, and stained. She uncovered a torn piece of cloth smeared with dried blood, half buried as if someone had tried to hide it. Her breath hitched when she noticed large footprints leading away from the post, the edges frozen by the storm. Not animal prints, human? And the deep drag marks beside them hinted at a struggle far more serious than she'd imagined. Martha's pulse quickened as the wind howled around her, carrying the weight of danger she could now feel in her bones. With one arm clutching the puppies, she fumbled for her phone and dialed emergency services. The operator's voice crackled through the static, warning that the storm might delay responders. Martha glanced at the trembling mother dog and the bloody cloth, her jaw tightening. Waiting wasn't an option, lives were slipping away by the second. As Martha prepared to lift the mother dog into her car, something wooden caught her eye beneath a drift of snow. Curious, she brushed the surface clean and revealed a small box, its lid half open as if dropped in a hurry. Inside were scattered crumbs of dog food, a cracked plastic bowl, a frayed collar, and a folded note dampened by melted snow. With trembling fingers, Martha opened it, and her breath stalled. 3 shaky words were written in fading ink, "Please save them." Martha stared at the note, her heart pounding as the message echoed in her mind. Whoever left it hadn't intended harm, they were begging for help. She looked at the box, the scattered supplies, the mother dog's raw rope burns. Someone had tried to care for this little family, but something had gone terribly wrong. The footprints, the blood, the desperate warning, it all formed a chilling picture. Martha realized these dogs weren't abandoned out of cruelty. They were hidden, protected, and whoever tried to save them might still be in danger. Martha hesitated only a moment before stepping toward the trail marked in the snow. The wind bit at her face, but curiosity and fear pushed her forward. The footprints led into the trees, deep and uneven, as if the person had been staggering. A thin line of frozen blood traced the same path, glistening faintly under the storm's muted light. Then she saw it a patch of disturbed snow, branches broken, and the clear imprint of someone collapsing. Drag marks stretched deeper into the woods. Martha's breath trembled. Whoever had left the note hadn't walked away. They'd been taken. Martha hurried back to the roadside just as distant sirens pierced the storm. 2 rescue trucks pulled up, lights flashing against the swirling snow. Paramedics rushed toward her, gently taking the puppies and cutting the mother dog free from the rope. Another responder examined the cloth and the footprints, his expression tightening with concern. "There's more to this," he muttered. Martha nodded, shivering from cold and fear. At last, help had arrived, but the mystery was only deepening. A forest ranger arrived moments later, studying the scene with sharp, experienced eyes. When he saw the note, the rope burns, and the shattered box, his face grew grave. "We received a report 2 days ago," he said quietly, "about a man seen protecting a stray dog and her puppies from illegal breeders operating in this area." Martha's stomach dropped as he continued. "These people steal female dogs for breeding mills. The witness said the man refused to hand this one over, and they chased him into the woods." The ranger pointed to the blood trail. He tied the mother dog to keep her safe, hid the puppies, and left that note before they caught up to him. Martha felt her heart crack. Someone had risked everything for them. With the truth finally laid bare, the rescue team wasted no time. Guided by flashlights cutting through the storm, rangers and paramedics followed the blood trail into the forest. Martha stood by the road, clutching her coat tightly, her heart twisting with worry for a man she had never met but suddenly cared deeply about. Snow swallowed every sound except the crunch of boots fading into the darkness. Minutes stretched like hours as she prayed silently. Somewhere in that frozen wilderness, a stranger who saved helpless lives was fighting for his own. Nearly an hour later, the crackle of a radio broke the silence. A ranger's voice came through, urgent, breathless, but hopeful. Moments after, the rescue team emerged from the tree line, carrying a man on a stretcher. His clothes were torn, his skin pale from cold, streaked with dried blood. But he was alive. Martha rushed forward as the paramedics checked his pulse and wrapped him in blankets. His eyelids fluttered weakly before opening just enough to focus on her. With trembling lips, he whispered the only question that mattered to him. "The dogs. Are they safe?" Martha felt tears fill her eyes. "Yes," she said softly. "You saved them." At the clinic, warmth finally replaced the biting cold as the rescued man lay recovering on a narrow bed. When the mother dog was brought in, she limped toward him with soft, trembling steps. She lowered her head beside his hand, letting out a gentle whine as if recognizing her protector. His eyes glistened as he touched her fur, relief washing over his exhausted face. The puppies, now wrapped in blankets and nursing safely, were placed nearby. For the first time since the storm began, hope filled the room, quiet, fragile, but unmistakably alive. Days later, when the storm finally cleared, Martha returned to the clinic to check on them. The puppies were stronger now, their tiny tails wagging as they tumbled over each other. The man thanked her with teary eyes, promising he'd never forget what she did. Martha surprised even herself when she asked to adopt one of the pups, a small, brown-furred one who kept nuzzling her coat. As she held him close, she reread the note she'd saved. "You didn't just save them," she whispered softly. "You saved me too,